Hello my lovelies, it's me, Edith Ivy, and we are back with another episode of Wytchwood. Now, last time we did the ox, and while we were on the ox, we sort of accidentally started the leech. So, we're going to continue on with the leech today, which means we have to head back to the swamp. Now, what were we doing with the leech? Alright, we need to visit the sick house west of the swamp. Alright, west of the swamps to the left. So many things in here. And to the sick house.
Hold on now. This sick house is full to the brim and festering with disease. Don't you know there's a deadly plague going around? A plague, you say? This is the first I've heard of it. Oh, it's terrible. It affects young and old, and the healthy and infirm alike. We're so swamped with patients I can barely catch my breath. So what are you doing out here? Shouldn't you be inside, tending to the ill? We've just got so many bodies piling up. Someone has to bury them before they spread the disease further.
She drops her voice to a whisper, looking ashamed. It's gotten so crowded, I've even had to dump some in the swamp.
That seems unethical.
Don't worry, the leech is inside, working her miracles on the other patients. They couldn't be in better hands.
The leech? That's the doctor of this place?
The best in the land. I don't dare think about how much worse it would be without her skills.
I need to speak to her. I'm checking up on someone who came through here.
Sorry, I cannot in good conscience allow a person of your, years to enter such an infectious space without the proper inoculation. But with all the patients, we're low on medicine, and I'm afraid I don't have any to spare.
Bah! What's a simple booster shot made from, anyway? There's plenty of medicinal ingredients right here in the swamp. I'll go get them myself.
Well, it's a pretty basic prescription. If you bring me the components, I'll be able to mix and administer it, and then you can go inside. I'll need 3 milligrams of bug-eye core extract, 5 grams of toxic thistle powder, and some lazy grass to numb the pain.
Alright, so I need another lazy grass, I need 5 toxic thistles, and 1 more bug-eye core. Okay. Do I have any of those little salt things? Because the spirit salts. So if I can craft a couple of those, I can get bug-eye core from the leechy dudes coming around. And then... oh, thistle should be just completely easy to get. Oh, shoot. They do blood, not ichor. My mistake. Fortunately, I'm pretty sure if I can find something dragonfly shaped, they give bug-eye core. That's right. Take the delicious stick. Yay! Boom. Ichor. Now we need some thistle and some lazy grass. That was close. think there was some thistle up here with all the frogs and corpses. Yeah, there's some thistles. Okay. 2 thistles and a lazy grass. Okay. Alright, let's pop over to the fields. And we'll get us some lazy grass. Back to the fields. Alright, now for some lazy grass. I'm not willing to fight a gnome for lazy grass. They look tough. No, we only need the one, but I'm gonna just do a quick circle and see if I can get a little bit more. Because having spares never hurt anybody. Hi, cow. Oh no, the gnome is chasing us! Ah! Alright, now we definitely have plenty of lazy grass. Back to the swamp. Alright, back to the infirmary. I'll need 3 milligrams of bug ichor extract, 5 grams of toxic thistle powder, and some lazy grass to numb the pain. You place a sloshing jar of ichor in the nurse's hands. She inspects it suspiciously, but doesn't ask where it came from. You snap off a few spiny thistles and pass them to the nurse. She's careful not to prick herself on the sharp ends. The nurse takes the dried grasses you have been so careful to keep intact and immediately crushes them into powder. The nurse nods at you, gathering all the ingredients into a small hand-sized mortar. You hold your breath as she mashes everything into a slimy, stinky liquid. Not the most pleasant stuff, but I can assure you it beats growing lumps where no lumps should be. Speak for yourself. One can never have enough lumps. The nurse shrugs at you, sucking up the bubbling mixture into an oversized syringe. She gestures for you to hold out your arm. After stabbing into your flesh several times, she fails to find any veins with the point of the needle. Sorry, you have seemed to have some strange physiology? Bah, give it here. I'll do it. You seize the injector and jab it into your arm without further fuss. A cool sensation climbs into your fingertips. You doubt the medicine will have any effect, but at least it should make the nurse happy. There, I feel much better. Can I go inside now? Oh, yes, of course. You should be immune to the plague for the time being. Just be quick. The leech is very busy. Okay, the nurse can't give a shot. The doctor slithers from one patient to another, checking off little boxes on a clipboard. From under her wide-brimmed hat, she appears to notice you enter, but pays you no mind. You must be the leech. I was hoping you could help me find one of your patients. Do you have the symptoms? Crackling of the bones, oozing eyes, skin rot, perhaps a yellow liver. Let's get you examined. The leech extends her toothy snout, prodding your body and searching for some hidden malignancy. You slap her away with a swift palm. If it's sickness you're looking for, you won't find it on me. My dear, we're all sick with something. Whether it's a broken heart or a broken arm, we all suffer in one way or another. You peer through her tightly wrapped garments and see a deep darkness underneath. Despite the warmth in her words, there's a sense of hunger and urgency in her tone. I'm here to heal, to mend, to put all of your troubles at ease. Now tell me, what ails you? I told you already. I am in perfect health. I'm here to find someone. A man who came through here with a sprained ankle. Half the patients who come to me have twisted this or broken that. Before the pox sets in, that is. Can you be more specific? What does he look like?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Well, then how do you expect me to help you? Come back to me when you know who you're looking for. You look about the sick house at the coughing, wheezing, bedridden souls. Perhaps some of them would be able to identify the missing husband? Deduce a description of the husband from the sick folk. Can't find the short guy? Sorry, can't help you. I don't know where that short fellow got to, hey? I missed that man with the beard. There was a fellow with dark hair, dark eyes. This one's sleeping. A husband, yeah, he had a darker complexion than me. So we have a dark complexion, a beard, short. It's that beardy guy you're looking for. That is a suspiciously sparkling jar. Well, do you have any better idea who exactly you're looking for? The fellow we're looking for was shorter than most. I'm going to need a bit more than that. Darkened features. Narrowing it down, give me something else. And we know he had a full beard. Oh yes, I remember that poor man now. He came in with a swollen ankle, but his journey through the swamp, he must have contracted the plague. His condition declined rapidly, I'm sorry to say. In the end, there wasn't much I could do for him, except make him comfortable.
He's dead? What sort of sick house is this anyway?
My condolences, really. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get back to doing what I can for the living.
At least tell me where his wife might collect his body. The nurse outside seemed to be having trouble keeping track of them all.
I'm sorry. That information is reserved for next of kin. Judging by your physique, I wouldn't say you were related to the deceased in the slightest. The doctor turns away from you to prepare vials of medicine. Better to return to the old woman in the swamp with the bad news. I do not like the flies. I do not like the corpses in the swamp. I think this leech might be full of, well, something. I love how the swamp is full of soft banjo music. Do you have news of my husband? He should have been back from the sick house by now. You bow your head in condolence. I'm sorry to say that your husband has passed away. The leech said he fell ill with the plague. Rather than grief, an expression of mild annoyance crosses the woman's face. Oh, what a nuisance.
You don't seem that upset by the news.
Well, he was getting on in years. It was bound to happen sooner or later. I just didn't think it would happen from some measly plague of all things. So where's that fool now? I'm not sure. The Leech wouldn't tell me. But her assistant mentioned having to dispose of the dead out in the swamp. Oh, brimstone and bandersnatch. I know I'm already in your debt, sister, but can I ask you for another favor? I suppose I've already stuck my foot in this mess. What is it? There's an old circle of power just west of here. It served me well in my younger years, and I expect it's got some juice left. I need you to dust it off and fire it up again. I'd go do it myself, but by the time I get there, my poor husband's body would have been reduced to worm farts. And what am I to do with this circle? You're a knowledgeable lass. The engravings on the obelisks should explain the rest. I think we may have found what those cool pillars are. Let's go check it out. Adorned obelisk, ornately dressed, but for what and by whom? You brush off a blanket of thick moss and lichen from the ancient magical pattern carved into the earth. The essence of power wakes at your touch, bringing slight warmth to your fingertips. 4 black stone obelisks surround the ritual spot. You'll need to scrape off more overgrown decay to read the runic lettering engraved on their surfaces. Okay, I need a Drake Fang, apothecary humors, a necromantic charm, and I need a death certificate from the Leech. Well, I believe it's fairly simple to craft apothecary humors. Need some more bug-eye core. And the Drake Fang requires a sacrifice. Okay, the necromantic charm. We're gonna need another skelejack bone. Alright, we have everything we need to get the skeleton bone. We need some bug-eye core. That's easy enough. I'm just gonna need a bait stick. And then the sacrifice. Because that was what the Drake was weak to when we ran into him before. We need Soporific Potion. Which we need a jar of water for. Oh, that we can pretty much get anywhere here. Let's just see how much we can get through. Okay, we need more meat. I think we need to go to the fields or the forest will work for meat. Then can we make you? We need fairy dust. So we definitely need to go to the forest for the fairy dust. Yes, yes, you're a very, very scary totem. I am doing this in the most haphazard way. Okay. The fairies. There were some fairies down where the frog kid was. I think. Awesome. Now we should be able to make the witch... Oh, we already had the witch spice. What did we need fairy dust for? We needed it for the soporific potion? Nope. Ah, we needed it for the magic paste, which we need some milk for.
So we need meat and milk. Let's go find somewhere where squirrels are running around. Did burbs give meat or just feathers? Let's find out. Excellent. Come here, bird. Here, birdie birdie. Perfect. I think that means that we can make the roast beast. Okay, we have the roast beast. We need a water and a milk. Those are both found relatively close to the opening in the fields. Hello, cow. Boom. Hey, farmer guy. Alright. Magic paste. Soporific potion. I think that means we can make the sacrifice. And we have this little snag vine. So we can go get that pumpkin jack bone. Hey, bandits. Hi, turkey. Hello. Thank you, sir. We have a sacrifice. We need apothecary humors, which we need the bug ichor for. And we need the necromantic charm, which I believe we have everything we need for. Oh, are you going to complicate our apothecary humors? Okay, we still have enough blood. So we just need 2 bug ichor. Still paranoid about running out of clay. Alright, back to the swamp for some bug ichor. I think that will be that. Alright, let's grab that drake first. I think it was shears? Yes. Haha. We have a drake fang. Now we need bug ichor. So let's find somewhere where we got a lot of dragonflies flying around. Perfect. Over here. Thank you for your service. Alright, let's craft those apothecary humors. Alright, we just need a death certificate. Back to the leech. The shadowy doctor prowls amongst the cots, eyeing the weakest patients with a dark hunger. She snaps a quivering tentacle at you as you approach. Not a step closer! Who knows what sort of disgusting maladies you might be carrying? Yes, I'm a pox-ridden wretch, I know. But I need a death certificate from you. Specifically of the short-bearded man we spoke about. His wife is in no condition to roll her chair through the swamp, so she's asked me to collect it for her.
I don't simply give out death certificates to anyone claiming to be someone's aunt, grandmother, or friend. This is a legitimate operation.
She turns her back to you and rummages through a nearby medicinal closet.
Now, where has that serum got to? Don't tell me we're already out.
What's the matter? Out of stock? It's a shame you don't have time to go out yourself. She tenses at your continued presence.
What are you getting at?
Medicine for that death certificate. I think that's a fair trade, don't you?
You would barter when people's lives are on the line? Fine. You'll have your paperwork, you filthy degenerate.
Clearly too angry to speak with you, she shoves a list of required medicinal supplies into your hands. 3 mending poultices I've got, dragonfly wings I've got. Alright, we just need 1 skeeter snoot. Oh, there's a skeeter up there. Alright, that was quick and easy. Our list is so long. Clearly too angry to speak with you, she shoves a list of required medicinal supplies into your hands. The leech stuffs the poultice into an unsanitary-looking cabinet without a second glance. You're not entirely sure how she'll be using these. The leech takes the wings with a surprisingly delicate touch and lays them out carefully along the surface of a clear shelf. The leech inspects the barbs before placing each of them carefully into a velvet-lined container alongside other excruciating-looking instruments. I've run your errands, now I really must insist on that death certificate.
There's no need to get prickly. I have your papers right here.
The leech extends her moist arm and thrusts a poorly written note into your hands. You shake the mucus from the paper and try to decipher the loopy, illegible scribbles. You're not even sure the leech spelled the poor man's name right, but you suppose it's better than nothing. Ha! Next time I need a doctor's note, I'm better off forging the signature myself. You crumple the note into a tight roll for safekeeping. Back to the obelisks. The western obelisk requires a source of undead animation. So let's give it a necromantic charm. You place the token of undeath into the basin. It flutters like a candle for a moment before the shadowy umbra of the obelisk snuffs it out. The southern obelisk asks for a collection of bodily fluids to breathe new life into an unliving vessel. Apothecary humors. You fill the bowl with an offering of anatomic liquids. The fluid slowly disappears as if being drained by some unseen thirst, until only a wet residue remains. The eastern obelisk yearns for the tooth of a dragon. You haven't seen any real dragons in years, but who knows what's out in the swamp. Fortunately, we have a drake fang. You drop the sharp reptilian fang into the stone basin with a heavy clunk. It spins like a top, emitting a high-pitched whine before shattering into fine white dust. The northern obelisk calls for proof of the dead. The afterlife is nothing if not bureaucratic. A death certificate from the Leech would fit the bill. The humid swamp air has made the paper of the death certificate soft and damp. As you drop it into the bowl, it decomposes before your eyes until nothing is left. With the final offering accepted, the obelisks surrounding the circle begin to hum. You hear a strange melody playing through their discordant tones. The carvings on the ground burn with renewed energy, driving away the overgrowth. You're quick to step away as you feel a vacuous force pull at the circle's center. I suppose that's done the trick. Let's see what the writing has to say for itself now. You rotate your head to read the glowing letters at the edge of the circle. Place the vessel of the deceased, yada yada. Recite the evocation of necrodermis, blah blah. Apply the canopic ointment. Right. Seems straightforward enough. All I need to do now is go fetch the body of that poor fool husband. He should be in the swamp somewhere. Hey, it's almost like we know where there's a whole bunch of bodies just hanging about. Let's go find a corpse. Ugh, this must be where that nurse has been dumping the surplus of corpses. I'll need to take a closer look at each one to find the right fellow. Similar perhaps, but not the right body. This isn't the right one. Not the husband. Not this one. This poor soul doesn't fit the description. Where on earth is that stinking body? You'd think I'd be able to find him among the dead here. You watch a particularly bloated fly land on a rotting hand poking out of the muck. Its disgusting proboscis probes at the withered flesh. Two globular red eyes slowly unglue themselves and swivel to boggle at the insect. A huge slime-colored tongue lashes out and pulls the hapless fly into a gaping, toothless maw, along with most of the sunken corpse. Well, I suppose that explains where my misplaced man went. That is a quite large sum of frog.
Croak. Can it be? Has a lovely young morsel wandered its way into my palace?
You call this filthy bog a palace? He throws his head back, shaking the swamp with burbling laughter. Smaller frogs and newts scurry out of the way to avoid being crushed by his enormous bulk.
Ho ho ho! Wouldn't you? This place is a veritable bounty of insects, and my subjects have such healthy appetites, so they will all grow big and strong. I'd eat you too, but that head of yours looks much too hard. I prefer my food to be nice and tender.
Look. You and perchance have seen an old man pass through here, have you? About yay high, full beard, deadish. The frog taps his fingers against a log, grinning an impossibly large grin.
Oh, yes. I do believe I've seen the chap. He had such a delectable aroma and fall off the bone ribs. But I'm sorry to say that once something goes down the hatch, it never sees the light of day again.
Oh, we'll see about that. I'm sure I can come up with some just desserts for you. The frog rolls his eyes around and around as if daring you to try something. A witch, of course, always has something she can try. Digestive tablets. Oh, okay, so we need Eye of Newt and Goblin Snot again. So, let's go... Okay. Logically, we need a bait stick. We don't have any meat. That's on me. I should always have a little meat around. Alright, let's go. We're gonna have to run all over for this. What do we need for the dolly? Alright, we'll need the skeeter snoot. We'll need grain. Oh no, we have plenty of grain. So we'll need a skeeter snoot. We will need hopper legs. And we need meat. Well, we definitely need to go to the fields. Oh! How sweet! Thank you, game! How very kind! Alright, we need meat, which we can get. I kind of want to try for squirrels, just because they seem to give more pieces of meat. And we need to go to the forest anyway. Oh, cool. There's a squirrel right there. Thank you, squirrel. Yeah, look at that. 3 bits of meat. Alright. Now, let's go get some Eye of Newt. And some Skeeter Snoot. Oh, and I need a smoke pellet thingy. Oh, I need frog slime. Well, I know where frog slime is. I could have sworn I got a bunch of frog slime. Yeah, let's get the frogs right in front of the Frog King. Haha. Oh, and we're short on clay. Well, that's easy to find in a swamp. I can see how people might get annoyed with this game, but I actually love all of the foraging of it. Oh, I need this thing. Well, I know exactly where in the woods to find that. I need a Skeeter Snoot. Well, I guess I need to go where the Skeeters are. And I know what I need and where to get it. Okay, I need Eye of Newt. Now I just need to pop into the forest for some goblin snot. And we will be ready to give that King Frog a bad day. Yes, you are a very scary stick totem. I am running away. I flee before you. Oh, that isn't what I wanted to do. I love the forest. I love how it feels somehow. Feels how it's autumnal and lush. And oh, shoot. I got myself thwacked by a dryad. I just like all the textures and colors. Let's make some digestive tablets. Let's go give a frog a bad day. Let's go give a frog a bad day. 'Cause we need the corpse he ate, hey. The frog rolls his eyes around and around as if daring you to try something. And a witch, of course, always has something she can try. You wrap a juicy-looking grub around the medicinal tablets and offer it up to the Frog King. Your Majesty, I really must find the whereabouts of that gentleman. Perhaps this small tribute will persuade you to loosen your tongue. The frog gulps down the tantalizing meal without a thought.
Oh, a delectable gift. Thank you, my pretty. Now, I already told you where...
His nostrils flare for a moment, then he sneezes, sending specks of wet mucus flying. The frog's throat suddenly expands, filling with gas. The belch that erupts from its lips resonates so loudly that the entire swamp ceases its buzzing. You avert your eyes, but the noise and the smell of the dog's explosive eruption almost knock you off your feet. Great Clinta's ghost, what a stench! The frog wobbles on its legs, looking thoroughly emptied. He teeters before rolling his huge body back into the swamp with a thunderous splash. You spot the slippery body of the husband floating in the bog water. Luckily, he seems to be missing some bits and pieces, so he should fold up quite nicely. With some snapping and squeezing, you manage to get him down to a transportable size and stuff him in your satchel. Goodbye, Frog King. I love this creepy root totem guy. So creepy. The circle of power is ready and waiting for its necromantic purpose. With considerable effort, you unfold the husband's decaying body from your satchel and slap it down into the middle of the circle. Invisible shackles wrap around the corpse's limbs and pull it spread eagle against the ground. Strange mist rises from the obelisks, casting everything in a sickening green light. Slowly but surely, the corpse begins to levitate off the ground. It rotates to face each obelisk one by one.
Oh, get on with it. I haven't got all day.
You give the rotting head a good kick as it passes you. With a gasp of stale air, the body drops to the ground. Suddenly, it bolts upright. Speak to the zombie husband.
Well, hello there. You caused me a lot of trouble, you know that?
The reanimated corpse claws at his throat. Oh, sorry, wait a moment. Near your feet, you see a disembodied tongue flopping about on the ground like a worm. You scoop it up and quickly toss it into the man's gaping mouth. Though he moves his jaw, his lurching voice seems to emanate from someplace beyond.
Murderer.
What? I am not. You were quite dead when I found you.
No, Leech murdered me.
He clutches at his hollow chest as if trying to feel his heart beating.
Gave me plague. Drained my blood. Leech murdered others.
He swings a limp arm toward the body-filled bog.
I knew there was some awful stink about that sick house. What sort of doctor infects her own patients?
Check her office. Find proof.
Oh, don't you worry. I'll make sure that parasite gets what's coming to her. But you should head back home. Your wife is worried half to death about you.
He turns and looks longingly over his shoulder. You can hear his vertebrae popping.
Yes, I late.
As he shambles into the choking mist, he gives you a crooked nod of thanks. Looks like we have an office to search. This'll be fun. I do enjoy sneaking into places where I'm not supposed to be. While the leech is busy with her patients, you rifle through the contents of the various cabinets in her office. Mostly dried herbs and potions. Nothing seems out of the ordinary. That is, until you notice a suspicious-looking bookcase set against the wall. The books are all fake, just chopped-down spines glued to a solid plank. Your fingers race across the medical titles and quickly find a loose volume. With a click of a switch, the whole bookcase swings open to reveal a secret compartment. Your heart jumps at the sight. Racks upon racks of bottled blood are arranged like fine wines. Each vessel meticulously catalogued is the name, description, and age of its source. Looks like that thirsty slug's been sapping the living for years. On a nearby table you spy a decanter half filled with ruby red liquid. You wonder whose blood it contains. A dash of salt would remind that slimy worm that there's worse things out there than bloodsuckers. We need some salts. I think we can just make those. Yay, I have enough ingredients. It's the same thing that you use on the leeches in the swamp. That is some fabulous symmetry. You sprinkle a generous amount of embalming salts collected from the graves of the leech's victims into the decanter. As the salt dissolves into the bloody cocktail, you hear the telltale squelching of the good doctor's approach.
What are you doing? Can't you see this is my private office? I already helped you enough, so there's no reason you ought to be here.
She hastily shuffles you out of the room.
Now get out! This place is only for the sick.
You're certainly right about that. You walk just out of sight before doubling back to hide behind a withered get-well bouquet. You peer at the vexed leech as she slithers around her office, checking every cabinet and locker for tampering. She mutters something expletive about nosy old women. Satisfied, she sighs with relief and reaches to pour herself a glass from the tainted decanter.
That addition of black fever adds a certain nutty quality. Maybe it'll pair well with an infusion of peat moss palsy in the next batch.
She takes a sip, waiting just a moment before throwing her head back and guzzling it all down.
Lovely. Sharp flavor, full body too.
Suddenly the leech snaps to attention. Her limbs dart out, writhing with uncontrollable gestures. She stabilizes herself against the table as sweat pools on her brow. The decanter shatters against the floor in an explosion of glass.
What's happening?
The leech spasms as the tendrils of ghostly spirits begin to suck the moisture from her body. You watch as she dwindles and sighs, shrinking like some horrible raisin. You inspect the mummified worm, pressing it between your fingers lightly. Drained by the very spirits she was supposed to be healing. In your fingertips, you make out the faintest of heartbeats, the soul of the leech. And that's quest completed. I don't believe it! This was happening right here under our noses! I kind of feel bad for the nurse. She had so much faith in the leech. Before we head back home, I am gonna check in with the little old woman and her husband. See how they're doing. Thank you, sister. He's good as new.
Love wife.
That's so cute. I love that for them. I'm glad they're happy. Now let's head back home. Alright, that is 2 souls down and 2 to go. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Wytchwood. And since I batch record, I won't actually have time to see feedback before I record the next episode. So I think I'm just gonna follow the list in order. The bear in the forest is next, the snake after that. I do love this game. I hope you love it too. In the meantime, have a lovely time zone wherever you are. Thank you so much for watching. If you've liked this content, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, maybe ring the notification bell. I have been Edith Ivy, and this has been Wytchwood, and I will see you again very soon.